grew up together in Chicago were visiting Los Angeles supporting a rapper. The group came back from a night of bowling when the suspects fired more than 30 rounds. 6 other people were injured that night.
On the ADW shooting.
Police believe at least one of the suspects, Dejon Tompkins, is also connected to the December of 30-year-old Julian Bynum, who also happens to be from Chicago. He was shot multiple times in front of an apartment complex on Simpson Avenue in North Hollywood.
In both of these cases, the suspects use ambush-style tactics on their unsuspecting victims.
The LA County District Attorney's Office says the 3 men face gun enhancements and special circumstance allegations. It says the circumstances in this case are so exceptional that a deviation from the standard policy is not only reasonable, but necessary. And all 3 men are now awaiting extradition back here to LA, facing multiple attempted and assault charges. The DA's office says it decided to file the enhancement because of the tremendous loss of life and the harm allegedly caused by these individuals. Reporting downtown, I'm Rachel Menitoff, KTLA 5 News.
Captain Tibbett emphasized during the press conference that collaboration and cooperation between law enforcement agencies across the country was absolutely crucial. Without this unprecedented level of coordination, these suspects might have remained free, potentially to kill again, to spread more violence, to destroy more lives. But here is where the story takes an even more disturbing turn. Police revealed that Ayanna, Nena, and Destiny were actually unintended targets. They died because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time and because of gang rivalries they had nothing to do with. According to investigators, a group of people who had grown up together in Chicago were visiting Los Angeles to support a rapper. This group included both the victims and presumably others who were connected to Chicago's gang culture in ways that Ayanna, Nena, and Destiny were not. When the group returned from their bowling outing that night, the suspects were waiting, and when they opened fire with more than 30 rounds, they did not care who they hit. This was not going to be treated as just another gang shooting. This was going to be prosecuted with the full weight and fury of the justice system, sending a clear message that bringing Chicago's gang violence to Los Angeles would result in the harshest possible consequences. The legal process would be lengthy and complex, requiring coordination between multiple jurisdictions and navigating the complicated waters of interstate extradition law. But prosecutors were determined, and families of the victims were watching closely, demanding that justice be served for Ayanna, Nena, and Destiny.
The DA's office says it decided to file the enhancement because of the tremendous loss of life and the harm allegedly caused by these individuals.
The aftermath of the shooting extended beyond just the criminal investigation. The entire Beverly Crest community was reeling, grappling with questions about safety, about short-term rentals, about how something so horrific could happen in their exclusive, supposedly secure neighborhood. Residents demanded answers. They demanded action. They demanded that something be done to prevent such tragedies from ever happening again.
The anger and fear in the community were palpable. These were people who had paid millions of dollars to live in what they believed was one of the safest neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and suddenly they were waking up to the sound of machine gunfire in the middle of the night. One frustrated resident captured the growing tension when they stated on camera. This sentiment echoed throughout the neighborhood, revealing a pattern of problems with short-term rentals that had been building for years but had never resulted in tragedy of this magnitude. Bill Curtis, a longtime resident who had lived in the Beverly Hills post office neighborhood for over 50 years, spoke about the property where the shooting occurred. He explained that the owners of the house had relocated to Miami, and while residents initially did not know if the property had been sold, they discovered in the days following the shooting that it was actually being operated as a one-year rental, with whoever had rented it for that year apparently subletting it out for short-term stays.
The neighbors in Beverly Crest are demanding change after 7 people were shot over the weekend at a short-term rental home. 3 women were just outside the house. Those who live nearby are saddened by this tragedy, but they're also calling on the city to impose stricter regulations. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell is live in Beverly Crest with more on these controversial properties. Josh?
And David, we have learned that there have been homicide investigations at 3 short-term rentals in the Benedict Canyon area just over the past 2.5 years. Residents are demanding that the city of LA further regulate the short-term rental market. Early Saturday morning, residents of this quiet Beverly Crest neighborhood located up Benedict Canyon were awakened by what they say sounded like machine gun fire. 7 people were shot, 3 killed outside this short-term rental on Ellison Drive.
It makes me very sad and scared, and I have a really uncomfortable feeling being in the neighborhood. This morning at 10 a.m., I didn't know if I should walk the dog or not.
Now, residents are demanding the city of Los Angeles further regulate short-term rentals.
I'm not surprised. Every time there's a rental with people we don't know, the cops get called. It's not the first time.
The Benedict Canyon Homeowners Association says this was the 3rd time homicides have occurred at short-term rentals in Benedict Canyon in the past 2.5 years. Bill Curtis has lived in what he calls the Beverly Hills Post Office neighborhood for over 50 years.
The owners of the house relocated to Miami. We didn't know if they sold it or not. However, we found out in the last couple of days that it was a 1-year rental, and we believe whoever had rented it for a year was letting it out. It's a problem because you don't know who your neighbors are going to be for 2 days.
The 3 people were in a vehicle outside the home and have been identified as Destiny Sims from Buckeye, Arizona, Nina Davis from Chicago, and Ayanna Hudden, pictured here, also from Chicago. Ayanna Hudden's mother telling our sister station in Chicago, WLS, that her daughter was visiting Los Angeles with her best friend Nina Davis to attend an album release party for a rapper. Ayanna Hudden was an up-and-coming rap artist herself, according to her mom, and was excited to make the trip.
It's sad the girls were my age in that car. Like, I could have been at that party too. It's so sad and horrible.
And also disturbing residents who live here. There was a report of a burglary just yesterday at this same short-term rental. Residents tell me they saw 4 suspects leaving the home wearing ski masks. When the LAPD arrived, they could not locate those suspects, but the LAPD told me that they are continuing to look into the incident. Right now, they are looking at it as a trespassing incident.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.
But the tragedy did not end with the shooting itself. Hours after police had cleared the crime scene and removed the bodies of Ayanna, Nina, and Destiny, something deeply disturbing occurred. At 10:15 in the morning on the same day, LAPD responded to reports of a burglary at the same property where the shooting had taken place. The owner of the property declined to press charges, and police eventually categorized the incident as trespassing rather than burglary. But the optics were terrible. People returning to a crime scene where 3 women had just been murdered hours earlier, brazenly retrieving belongings while wearing masks, seemingly showing no concern or respect for what had just transpired at that location. The families of the victims were left to grapple with unimaginable grief. Ayanna Hutton's mother spoke to their sister station in Chicago, WLS, explaining that her daughter had been visiting Los Angeles with her best friend Nina Davis to attend an album release party for a rapper. She described how excited Ayanna had been about the trip, how she saw it as an important step in her music career. The impact rippled through multiple communities. Young people in Beverly Crest who had never experienced such violence firsthand were traumatized. One young woman captured the horror felt by an entire generation when she said, "It's sad, the girls were my age in that car, like I could have been at that party too. It's so sad and horrible." But this massacre in Beverly Crest was not happening in a vacuum. It was part of a deeply disturbing pattern of senseless party shootings that have plagued American communities. To further understand the horror of what happened to Ayanna, Nina, and Destiny, we need to look at another party massacre that occurred just 4 years earlier, one that shares chilling similarities, despite happening in a completely different city under completely different circumstances. On May 25, 2019, in Detroit, Michigan, another house party would